Hey Apostles family, today is Wednesday, November 11th, and this Sunday we'll be holding our first indoor gathering in 8 months. Now while this won't be a normal Sunday compared to what we've experienced in the past, it will certainly be a joy to get to see one another and to worship in person together. Now, we've been following the news related to COVID-19 closely. We're keeping track of updates from the mayor's office. And after evaluating, we are confident that we can gather safely this Sunday. Ryan Taylor has done much of the legwork to ensure that we'll be in full compliance with all of the New York State protocols for churches. Now, if the 7-day rolling average of COVID-19 positivity here in the city hits 3%, we will cancel. Of course, if Regis High School says that we need to cancel, we will. If city officials require churches to cancel services this Sunday, we will. But barring those 3 scenarios, we will be gathering in person this Sunday. Now, if you've joined a worship gathering at Regis in the past, much of our Sunday, the singing, scripture reading, the preaching, the taking of the Lord's Supper, it'll be familiar. The obvious changes are going to be the ways in which we're abiding by the Department of Health guidelines for church gatherings so that we can do our part to love our community and our neighbors well. Now we're going to do a deep dive into the specifics, but this will be important for Sunday. First is pre-registration. If you haven't already, please pre-register now. You need to pre-register your whole household by following the link in this video description or in the newsletter. The online registration will ask standard COVID-19 questions related to recent symptoms, infection, exposure, and travel. If you have already registered and if for some reason you need to cancel, just email us at uptown@apostles.nyc to let us know. Second is masks. This should be really familiar to all of us. We ask that you and everyone in your household bring and wear a mask throughout the whole service. The only exceptions to this will be children under the age of 2 and those with a documented medical exemption. Now, if you happen to forget your mask, we will have extras available for you. Third is kind of when you arrive. When you get to Regis, plan to enter through the main doors on 85th Street. Between Park and Madison. This is where we normally have entered previously. Either when you're on the sidewalk before entering or when you get into the lobby. Every attender, including kids, will have your temperature taken with a touchless thermometer, and you'll be asked by a connections team member if there have been any changes to your pre-registration screening responses. Anyone who does not clear screening will be asked to return home. Social distancing. This is the buzzword right now that we're all experiencing, but is really important. When you enter the building, please maintain 6 feet of distance from people outside of your household at all times in the building. During the service, households will be spaced 12 feet apart to comply with New York State protocols for indoor gatherings with singing. Masks will remain on the whole time, even during singing. Additionally, please keep an eye out and follow the directional signage throughout the space. This will have to do with the way that we're going one way down aisles, and especially with restrooms, elevator, smaller common spaces, they'll have posted capacity restrictions in accordance with the protocols we're following. Personal greetings. It's going to be tough, but we do ask that you please avoid shaking hands or hugging people outside of your household. Instead, wave, bump elbows, tap feet, do that instead. There will be no kids ministry this Sunday in person, so children will remain with their families throughout the service. We are planning to shorten the service slightly, and weather permitting, families with small children can use the courtyard right outside the auditorium during the service so that some members of your household can continue to worship if one of your children needs a break. As restrictions lift across the city, we do plan to gradually reintroduce kids ministry, and that's our hope for the future. 7 is vulnerable population seating. So if you or someone in your household are more vulnerable to infection, so this is people over 70 years old, or people with underlying health conditions, or if you're immunocompromised. We're reserving balcony seating for you. Number 8 is communion. We will be taking communion together, but instead of taking the bread and dipping it into the cup, we will be having pre-packaged individual containers. So after the sermon, one member from each household will be invited to collect enough communion packets for your whole household, and we'll take communion together. Number 9 is giving. We won't be receiving physical checks or cash during the offering for the time being. Instead, please take advantage of our app, which we just released this week, or our text to give option. If anyone needs help at all related to giving a gift, you can contact a Connections team member on Sunday. They'll be wearing blue lanyards and we'll be glad to help. At the end of the service, this will be really important. When the service ends, we plan to do a staggered dismissal from the auditorium through the exit-only doors at the main entrance. This will help avoid overcrowding in the lobby. We ask that you please help us by not congregating indoor or the sidewalk outside. Instead, as soon as you're dismissed, please exit the premises. And a great idea would be to go to Central Park, somewhere where there's opportunity to maintain social distance outside. That'll be a great way to spend time with new people you've met or folks we have not seen in a while. And finally, we will be live streaming this Sunday. We've mentioned that before, to accommodate all of those who aren't able or aren't comfortable with gathering in person. We'll continue to stream all of our services online through our website. Gathering isn't a test of our righteousness. This is a very strange time and we're all navigating these waters. So we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to engage on Sundays. Finally, if you're wondering about sanitation, the Regis custodians are going to plan to follow hygiene, cleaning, disinfection requirements from the CDC and the Department of Health. So they'll be sanitizing high-touch areas around the facility, so like bathrooms and those kind of things during the service. We'll also be providing hand sanitizer stations throughout the spaces that we're using. This will be a new and very different experience for all of us, but we do think these efforts will be worth the benefit of getting to gather together in person. Mindful of all the complexity to adapt to these elements, we're planning to phase gatherings back in over time, allowing space for operational issues to be resolved before we return to a week-to-week in-person gathering. So after our service this coming Sunday, we do plan to meet again in person on December 13th, and then we'll reevaluate our capacity from there for more frequent services in 2021. All that could change, but for now, that's what we're prayerfully looking toward. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Don't forget if you're coming to RSVP, and we'll see you Sunday.